So hello to all. I'm glad to see all of you. It's a pleasure that you decided to come to my talk, Levels Unlocked Journeys to Level Design. So let's begin. And as good practice, and I would say even recommended practice in level design, before starting to develop your levels, it's a great plan to start from some 2D plan from scratch, or from maybe some scheme in Photoshop, Miro, what software you prefer. And that's how we will start today, okay, also. So first of all, we will have introduction. We're already here now. And after that, we will talk about the history of the 3D game development, and especially we'll focus on the first-person shooter games. And during this level, I will highlight some of the key features, some of the new features. At that time, it was everything new, but some of the techniques for level design that appeared already then. And in the next section, in the next level, we will see how they evolved, or also we will just see the new mechanics that weren't really used in the beginning of the game development. And just in this section, we will take a look of how to use them. I will show you on the real examples from the old games that we all love, how they have used. And after that, we will have a quick conclusion about all the stuff that we will cover today. And the final boss for me will be your questions. So let's start. And about me, my name is Zosym. I am working as a level designer for the company Played with Fire, and I already have more than 5 year experience in the game development. And through my journey, I have a pleasure to work with great teams in great companies like Pyramid Games, Juggler Games, Degeneros, and I'm working for the last 2 years almost in the Played with Fire. And during that my working periods, I have worked on a lot of the projects, and there are a few that I really like to show. The Castle Flipper, it was the first project in the game dev, so it's always something special. Airline Technician was my first project as a level designer. I worked in the production team, and we set up this project. Then I have worked in the Tank Squad, and for the last 2 years I'm working on the currently, unfortunately, not announced title, but I'm already so anticipated to just to share some of the stuff that we are working with our amazing team. And besides that, I'm providing my blog about the game development, and about especially about the game design, level design. I also trying to cover some other general topics like what movies bring to the games, what games bring to the movies. So at the end of the presentation, you have the code to my social. So I will be really glad if you just will follow it. And so let's begin of how it all began. And at the very beginning, there wasn't really the name as level designer. This position code as a map designer, and as I started at the beginning, in these times it is a good practice to begin your level from the 2D plan, to have this map just to construct all of the areas that you want to cover. And actually at the beginning of the game industry, it was the whole works to do. Yeah, so we just worked on the map, and from the 2D perspective, planned how your level will look like. But then the game becomes bigger and bigger, and from some point the games had served not only one level, but we had a menu when you had level 1, level 2, 3, and level X, and that's become to know, like, this position had to be renamed as already for level designer. But generally it was just from this perspective, because the levels and games were simple, and like most of them still was worked on like 2D plan. And let's delve more deeper into the history of the 3D game development. And here is actually the time. How do you think? When was the first-person shooter game released? Sorry, I just had to. Yeah, and now it should be appear on your phone. So you can just type, please, a name and the year. How do you think in which year it was released? And give you a little more time. Oh, I see that I have problem with internet. I'm sorry. Is it working now? Can you already? Oh, okay, so. And maybe now. Yes. Great. So yeah, let's give like 30 seconds. Oh, okay, I see someone already know even the. So I guess yes, I'm just wanted to raise the hand who named Maze War and who titled 1973. So please, can you please give the prizes to the people? Just stay your hand haste, and someone will give you a prize in a moment already. Yeah, it's going there. Sure, great. And yeah, it is right. The first game was like Maze War, and it was developed somewhere in summer of 1973, and we will back to this somewhere a little bit later. And basically, it was yeah, you see it. I can just okay, I haven't it here. I will just look at yeah. So one of the interesting things that this game already had like polygon system. So basically, you can see that the walls are solid, and it was pretty simple for now. But it was the first game and revolutionary. Was developed in the NASA Ames Research Center, and yeah, from the level design perspective, it was simply 90 degrees angles. You can see this map, yeah, so from which it was developed. And okay, it's good. And how do you think the next question? How do you think how many people worked on the first ever first-person shooter game? And I will, in a moment, launch it. Okay, you should have it. And again, like 30 seconds. Okay, and I have already the answers. Thank you, Lars, for participating. It's a real pleasure for me because I was nervous if it would work fine. And the person who named 7, can you please raise your hand? Is the current answer. And yeah, please stay this, with the raised hand because yeah, again, it's going here. And here we can see the name of these people. It was the first team was worked in NASA on this Maze War. And as I told, that we will back to this somewhere in the summer of 1973, because in that time the games were like something experimental, and it wasn't really like clearly documented. And I thought different sources, and in some sources also, and like James Bowery is the developer of another game, and in some sources it's mentioned as the first one, but still it is controversial because there are no like 100% documented which was in the summer and which was in the winter of 1974. But James Bowery was worked in the Plato network, and he developed the game like Zosym. It was a 32-player 3D network game involving 4 planetary systems, and in each planetary system there were 8 players, so they can just fly around, and their position is updated every second, and other players can see actually other players. And James Bowery claims that Zosym is at least the intellectual genesis for a lot of 3D computer games. And I partially agree with him because Spasim was like the first try of this of him of his company to work on the games, and Spasim leads to another games like Air Race in the same year. Then it was like built as an air flight. You can see like the UI is similar, and it was like the evolution of the game. Maybe nowadays we call it patch, but back then it was like the new version of the games. Then settings changed, and in the 1975, from the cosmic setting, it changed to the more Earth for the tanks and Panther, which led in the 1977 to the Panzer, and in 1980 it was the battle zone. And please tell me, does someone already know this game, the battle zone? Have you heard about it? Okay, so we have little adults here. It's great. Actually, Battlezone in 1980, and in general in 1980, the games at Spacey, Mazebor, they were developed in the really powerful computers, and it was the most powerful computers among the all, and like people cannot afford it and that didn't need it. So that games were just like, okay, it's first game, but it wasn't like selling, it wasn't as a mass market. And in 1980, Battlezone had like the arcade game, but in 1983 it already had the port for the Apple II and for the PC. And actually, we can name 1983 as the year of really like first-person shooter games mass market. And the level design of Battlezone, as you see, was relatively straightforward. So you just have this large valley surrounded by mountains, and you just can move and kill the charges and get points for it. And I guess the next title is already more common for us. It's Wolfenstein 3D. Am I right? I guess it's already more very closer to know what I'm talking. And I have one last question for you for today. I will do it now. I will go live. How do you think, how many precursor games contributed to the development of Wolfenstein 3D? So like, as I told, like Battlezone had 6 games, yes, at the before it became Battlezone. And how do you think how many Wolfenstein had before? You can just scan your QR code and write the number, and we will just choose. Yeah, yeah. So I'll leave a little. Okay, and thank you. I just stay someone because I guess I had take more, but I'm afraid that we have luck a little bit for one prize, but we will no scam today for my shift. We'll just stay about after presentation we will talk. Please raise hands who named 2. And yeah, 4 answers. And can you please, yeah. How many left there? 3. Okay, so yeah, as I count one person, please stay after the presentation, and I will give you also additional prize. But please, yeah, who is the closest one to the? Great, thank you. And actually, yeah, the right answer is 2. And as experiment, were at the beginning of the game like Hover Tank, and then was the Catacombs 3D, and after this, the next one is already was Wolfenstein. And before we will talk about like Howard Town Catacomb and how they evolved into the Wolfenstein, I just wanted to quickly talk about one person who in some circles are named as the father of first-person shooter games, is John Carmack. He was the founder of the company of this ID Software, and he was one of the leaders of the software engineering programmers, and he developed such games as Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, Quake, and in the 2014 he moved to the little bit another branch, like for the Oculus, and worked there as the CTO, and for the from the 2022, he leaves the Oculus and now working on his own startup, which is based on the AI. So after these titles and after the technologies that I will show in the moment that he developed, I'm sure that AI in the good hands, and it's I'm already looking for. He developed like adaptive tire refresh technology, and now it will be a little bit programmers. I'm not also good, but I tried to find the information. It was about like dynamically update the tailing in the frame, not on all of the screen, but only the tiles that updated on the screen. Raycasting, it's also the technology without which we cannot now just imagine how to build some first-person shooters. Binary space pressuring, was quite a technology that later evolved in something that now goes also like occlusion cooling. So it also was for the optimization and for the setting up in the priority walls and not render what is behind them. Surface caching is to the cache textures in the memory and not loaded them every time. Karmax reverse, it is technology that works on the shadow volume rendering, mega textures to be able to work on these big textures on the map, and fast inverse square root, which is using for the normalizing vectors, lighting or physics. And a quick look of the title that he worked on. So yeah, you can see there a lot of all of these games and a lot of Doom series, there's a Quake series. So let's back to the Howard Tongue, and yeah, you have this video. It's also just for background. Let's playing with the Howard Tongue, and as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. It hasn't even textures, but you already can see like there's something familiar with the Wolfenstein, and it was like the first try, like which is publicly released for the ID software, and they weren't really happy with the passing, and they means that the Howard Tongue has excessively slow gameplay. So that was they were working in the next games, and like dobrze. Okay, Catacomb 3D was the next version, and as you already can see, Catacomb has new features that was also like revolutionary for the games. It is to have some weapon at the middle of the screen, so it was more immersive for the player. He already knows how to what he's doing from what he's shooting. In that game, it was like spell casting, but you can see that already textures are appeared on the in the game. They're already more detailed UI, and it also led to already the game that most of us heard, to the Wolfenstein 3D in 1992. And of course, I'll push also here some video. Yeah, and Wolfenstein, from the level design perspective, had already so powerful things like pushing walls, like using the key to open some rooms. So it already was able to have some hidden rooms, so something more as exploration appeared in the game. Also Easter eggs, as I guess for now in nowadays culture, Easter eggs is probably everywhere that you can see movies, games, and also they just started to get this feature in the game. And yeah, of course, they already had even more fast-paced games, more hidden room. Some of the lighting, it wasn't like dynamic, but still, Wolfenstein 3D had one limitation, had more, but one of the limitations that already like other companies had. And for instance, as you see, Wolfenstein is still the level is like with 90-degree walls, and only with this. Meanwhile, such game as Underworld, he already had like 45-degree angle, so levels would, like looked a little bit more attractive and like immersive for the time. But yeah, but many of these limitations already were soon overcome when ID Software released the Doom. And Doom was for sure a legendary game that a lot of games that was published after the Doom, as like there were first-person shooter games. They was called as like Doom Copy and Doom Legacy. And for sure, from the perspective to the level design, the Doom had already more fast-paced gameplay, a variety of powerful weapons, so player already can had different gameplay with the weapon that he played. Also, Doom introduced the ability to alter the game work using switches and triggers. So, for instance, you can activate and the enemies are coming to your room and you do not expect it, or maybe some traps are starting, some maybe floor starting goes up and some toxic fluids start to fill the room that you are now, and you just have to go quickly from that. So like these triggers and events already started to appear in the game, and they had a big impact on the feeling of the game. Also, lifts were added to the game, so the world, like the level was already more complex. You had different levels, you can change them. And in general, it was more complex architecture and like block out to develop. And what I mentioned in the Wolfenstein 3D, that there was already some light, but Doom had already, of course, faked, but dynamic lighting, which is also put more attention to the players when they was playing, and it was also a good new feature. And from the level design perspective, which is like from the level design work, I would say, it was the importance that Doom and developers introduced the new, for the time, like gaming term less deathmatch, and it was important because already like level designers had to know what they're building, like for which purpose we're building game. Because if you take like the single player game, you can build the level for the one player, yeah, and it's like the dimensions of the level, the size of the area where the player will play it. It can be small, it can be like good for the one player, but it will be small already if you want to put on this map 8 players. And the same if you do really big map, like over big for this perspective, it will also have a bad purpose on your game, because players are not maybe meet at all. So from the development of this level, it was huge step, and like it was more challenging. And one of the interesting it was about development of the Doom, and it was developed in the game engine Doom id, and it was developed by the level designer and programmer John Romero. I guess some of you maybe heard about him. It was the rock star of the time. And the main thing that next step, it was like the operation system, and that was running only on the next computers. And the next computers was a company founded by Apple's founder Steve Jobs. And the interesting thing that they developed the game on the one engine, not on the engine on the one operating system, and they had to just do it then port to the another game even at that time. So even the level production was quite complex. So you had to work on one operation system, then the whole game is working on the next one. And a few more things. And what talking about the Easter eggs that I mentioned a few slides ago. I just want to quickly to talk about 3 more games that also had a huge impact on the level design, and one of the System Shock in 1994. This game was already from another company and was from another, I would say, branch of the gaming. They focused a little bit on another thing, like they focused on the environment, on exploration. They introduced to the puzzles to this to the game. So it was slower pace, but like already level design was a little bit another way of production, because you are not working on the mainly on encounters and making like arenas and like this fast-paced game, but you're working already on the environment and how to a player can interact with this environment, how he can solve puzzles. The next one, Rise of Triad. was widely used as the environmental hazard, and it was also a good new feature for the level design. As you are as player, already have to not only be aware of your enemies, but you also have to be aware of the surrounding world. So you have to pay attention to where you go and for what you're going. And from the game design perspective, they had explosive enemy death, and it was a game when at first it's really important how you destroy the enemies, and the player have to feel good when he destroys and have to have also fun of it. And actually when you're killing the enemies in the Rise of Triad, the bodies explode, but as you can see, there were a middle finger put in the camera perspective. And the last one, Duke Nukem 3D, which was good from the Eltron game space, so you could already interact with some objects, you could destroy objects. Some of the first try, of course, like as baked cube maps, but like glass and mirrors was introduced. So from this perspective, Duke also had a good like benefit for level design. And let's talk about nowadays and evolution of level design and some of the things that were used before and now. And first of all, that I want to talk about landmarks. So landmarks, also known as a point interest, and it's the main purpose of landmark is to capture players' attention to help him navigate through the world. So basically the main purpose is navigation, and without any UI, but like in the intuitive level, in the like mental map, player understanding where he is now at the beginning and where he should go to reach some goal. So sometimes it depends on your need of the landmark. But it's also a good practice to have such landmarks as with some complex architecture, so the player can see like from which side of the landmark he is now. Yeah, so he can rotate. Am I on the front of the landmark? So I have this stuff here, or maybe I'm back from the landmark. So if I want to reach some stuff, I need to go like and be in front of this. And as a great example, we can see the Disneyland map. And it's really a great example, and I saw it on one of the similar talks from Max Pierce, and highly recommend this guy. I learned a lot from him. And as you can see Disneyland, and you can see like this, I'm not sure if I can show it now. Oh yeah, great. You can see this castle in the beginning, and it is a great example of this landmark. So in even position you will be here or here, you can always see this castle, and you can orientate from which side of the Disneyland park you are now. And for instance, if you want to go to exit Disneyland, I don't know how many people want to exit Disneyland, but you can understand that if you're here, that your exit is like someone down here. And landmarks we can divide also on two types, like on the global landmarks, as example of this castle at the middle of the map, and also for the local landmarks. And local landmarks are also needs to player attentions, attach player attention, and but it serves for the remembering specific location. So for instance, you can see this castle already, which is in the big lake, inside of this lake. And for instance, you cannot already see this castle from this perspective, and the local landmark doesn't need to be see from the whole map. But when you enter the zone, you already remember okay, I remember this castle in the lake, and I know, for instance, that here I can buy some heals, here I can refill my ammo, and I just already understand what is the location I am. Yeah, so I understand like this location in main world. So that's why it's like local landmarks, while for instance this castle you can see for the whole time, and is a global landmark. And actually local landmarks were used already at the beginning of the game dev, and actually Doom has this kind of local landmark. So for instance, you had this room, and from this room you had, I guess, 4 or 5 exits, which were leading to another location. So when you reach in this room, you already can remember, oh, okay, I have on this exit 2, I had enemies here, and I can just go and have fight. And then the other exit, I have the way to lead in totally another location. So like local landmarks are serving for this, just to better intuitively communication with the player. And one of the another feature that global landmarks can do for you, it is to help to the player feel their progression, yes, through the level. So when you're playing the game, and let me show the example and that was used in the Last of Us 2. And for instance, as you see at the beginning of the mission, you had to go. I guess it was our TV station or radio station. I apologize, I don't remember what exactly it was. But the main thing is that at the beginning you see already your landmark. So you already see where yours go, yeah, where you need to go. And to gauge the progression, to make feeling better with the players, so they're not just wasting time. Of course, gameplay should be good, but also like from the intuitive perspective, it is cool when you can hide that landmark. So already you can see that, okay, I have quite a long way to go. For sure, I will encounter some enemies, some maybe puzzles, some struggles. But for instance, at the middle of this path, this landmark could be shown again, and at the end, you see like this landmark at the in front of you. So just player will understand that what path he overcome, which give him additional pleasure of playing, of accomplishing some mission, and. Yeah, so from this perspective, you can use also global landmarks, and it's for navigation and also for the giving more pleasure for the player. But as we speak about like the path which you have at the beginning of the of your path and the end point, it is important to measure your pacing. And it was also something that became, I guess, okay, it's not totally new feature, but it became more complex from already modern games. And as everything, we cannot give the player like continuous tension, or we cannot continuously have the player in some relaxed mode, because like this tension, this like emotions should be changed, yeah, and actually pacing determines these periods when you just changing this difficulty to the player, when you give him more challenge, when you give him to rest, when you give a game more challenge. Because if you just give for 1 hour challenge for the player, he will just exhausted, frustrated, and will quit the game. And also if you have no action, no some like this extreme feelings for the player for a long time, it's also will be boring for him. Yeah, so pacing actually determines these periods, and as a level designer, we have to plan it during the level development, even though this 2D plan. Yeah, so we know, okay, we have arena areas and we have some puzzle. And one of the greatest tools and methods to have this pacing and like to how we can use it and control, it is gating. Gating is widely used in the action games, for sure. So as I mentioned before, if you have some action arenas with a lot of encounters, you cannot give it for the whole game. You have to give the player to the rest. And it is a good practice to have, for instance, you have arena, for instance, for 15, 20 minutes, depends on the game, on the size and the gameplay. And then you have give a rest for 5-10 minutes, like gating, like to solve some puzzle. It is a good example. Naughty Dog's using it greatly in Uncharted series, in Last of Us series. They just like changed one by one, or if they want to increase the difficulty to tension, they can mix it in some another way. But actually, gating we can divide on the two types. It can be hard gating and the soft gating. And the like main difference between them, it is just time that players have to wait, or the amount of the things that players have to complete to like overcome this gating. And like hard one is mostly when you have spent more time and just have more things to do. And as example, for instance, skill requirement. In the Hogwarts Legacy, there were some missions, or just but you cannot enter before you had a suggested level and you hadn't learned some spell. And sometimes to get the suggested level, even if, for instance, you have like 15 and they require you 18, it is quite long. It could take you like for 1 hour, maybe even more, to complete side quests, to get some combat, to gain experience. So it's like different approaches how to do it, but it really can take some time before you can join it, like join the mission that you wanted. And also it can be narrative event. So for instance, in one of the Need for Speed series, you just cannot buy some of the car before some narrative event will be completed. And from the soft one, and this is quite tricky, but like resource requirement and skill requirement, a little bit different in case of these two games, because for instance, since the Age of Empires, and they already use this soft gating, and for instance, you cannot spawn more NPCs because you don't have a lot of houses, and like the amount of the actions that player have to do, it is much less. Yes, you have to build the house. If you don't have resources, okay, you can get quickly done resources and build the house, and you will receive the more NPCs. And like different about it, as I told, is the amount of this time and the actions that player have to do. And like for the skill requirement, you can spend 1 hour. For given taking more NPCs, you can spend like 1 minute. But it's some of the gameplay that you have to do. So it's like something that blocks you. Another example is the puzzles. Yeah. So as I mentioned, it's more common and more clearly understandable, easy to just set up. It is like to make the puzzle. So you want to overcome somewhere, you have to solve puzzle, and puzzle we can divide into different categories, like simple one. So just find the key and to get some lock. And another one, it is like more complex, like multi-step puzzle. So that's where you already, as a designer, as a production team, have already developed some system, some puzzle, some mechanic, some mini game, which will be more complex. It will be not like just take a key and unlock the door, but to do a good puzzle, so the player is feeling good, is feeling fair, and he knows that he has everything to solve the puzzle. It should be like unspoken contract between the game and player. So you as a developer have to guarantee that you have everything to do this. You just have to find the solution how to solve this puzzle. And to making it, I have some examples, some of the method to do it, like the puzzle triad, and it's based on the 3 questions that player has to ask himself, and you as a developer has to give him answers for these questions. So when he asks, he knows the answers. But like the first one, it is, what is my objective? So basically, when I am going to some location, we're talking about puzzle. So and the location is blocked, and what is my objective? I want to leave this location, yeah. And how I do it, I just want to leave through the doors. And the next question, it is, what obstacle must I overcome? So what blocks me to leave these doors? Yeah, so what I have, why I cannot do it? And the third one, it is, what do I have to overcome these obstacles? So actually, if you just play any puzzle, and we will see in a moment, like break down some of them, you can always just ask these 3 questions, and if you have the 3 answers, it is a good design, and player will have fun of solving this puzzle. But if something is not clear, so I don't know what to do, or the worst thing is I don't know how I can overcome it, that's the problem. So we have to keep attention to make it clearer for the player. And let's quickly just see some of the examples, and I hope that it will be seen good from Uncharted 4. It's quite hard to see from the light, but okay, the first one was like the question when you enter the location. It is what the player go, yeah, so we are coming to the location, and already we see okay, clearly I want to leave this location, and clearly I am blocked and I cannot do it. And the next one, it is you can overcome and to see what is the obstacles, yeah, you have to overcome. And from the first perspective, it is like visual. You already can intuitive understand what is blocked me. And another thing, what does player have to work with? And here, like Night Dog did a great job. If you just check back a little bit at the beginning, and you just can see the location. So you haven't a mess. You have like straight light. You have at the center. And basically, in the most of puzzles, and like especially that we today look. Like it put it on the center of the screen, so the camera is always looking on it. So you already know, okay, definitely with this wheel I have to do something, and like then players start to interact with it, and there will be now it's again like the second question, like what's the obstacle I have, so what is the puzzle or what I have to do, so what is the puzzle is here in this location. I also get know with the mechanic of that you can see you have wheel and you have a few wheels inside, and which wheel is responsible for which action. And actually just to go a little bit more. One more thing that I want to mention in this puzzle, it is that it was the first step, and I was talking about like multi-steps puzzles, and like the next one is you have another layer, and you already see an increased difficulty. So imagine this puzzle also as a new mechanic for your game, and as a new mechanic, you have to teach the player how to use it. So it is good also to have this like mini tutorial, even if this puzzle. So first step, it should be easy to just understand, okay, what I have to do, how can I do it, and the next ones can be already more tricky one. And the next one, a puzzle that we also wanted to share with you, it's like environmental puzzle. I prefer this environmental puzzles. It looks more interesting for me always, but it's required more things to do. It is from God of War Ragnarok. And again, what's the player go? You can clearly see the door in the center. It's a bit tricky if you play the game. Like this glass mirror, it's like the mechanics that is taught for the whole this biome, and like it is when you throw in the X, it's ricochets and can hit some of the action. So you can already see that I have to destroy that left thing. I guess I help to catch it. Like on the left here. Oh yeah. So you can just destroy it, and you can use it with that ricochet throw-in. And so another question: what obstacles does the player to have to overcome just to put this ricochet thing in the right order? And what does the player have to work with? You can see the dynamic environment that you can move to the different sides. It unlocks some of the passes that blocked before. And here it also like more complex puzzle, because that's the left side where this the thing is due. So it is like, what does the player have to work with again? So basically, as I mentioned, it was like as an example for this puzzle triad. So and example how you can use it, and how these questions are working perfectly when just player understands how to do it, what he to do, and how with which tools he can do it. And the last thing that I want to cover today, I already used this term before. It's like the mental map. And mental map is something like intuitive for the player, So when games becomes bigger, larger, and keep doing, and it's great, the more content have arrived to the players, and the more content you have on your maps and your worlds, and it is really, if it's really matter how you introduce it, how you place it, and how player understands how I can play with it, how it is, everything is connected, and mental map is something like that without directional labels, without directional UI, just on the intuitive way, and mostly player can and should build their mental map by themselves. You just have to give them this ability to make. And for instance, looking on these icons, you can see that it's my house. I have such mechanics here, and different games offers different mechanics at the home, but you know what you can do here at home, and you understand that if I go onto this biome, on this part of the map, I can grab some resources, for instance, to make some to craft some items, to make heals, yeah, or just found some heals, or just found some money to have in my in game. Or if I go to this zone, I will have encounter the enemies, and from this perspective, I can also meet some good challenges for myself. I can get more experience to boost my player. Or if I go to that next location, I will see I can get new quests, new items, and like just general stuff. So it's basically when you can just intuitively understand where you can go and what you can get from that perspective, and it is like intuitive, and players can build it by themselves. And on the example of the Hogwarts Legacy, like world map, you had the Hogwarts as your home, yeah, and you know that you there can learn some cast, you can drive your storyline. And for instance, you have Hogsmeade, another location, and you know, okay, if I come there, I can give some, I get some potions, I can trade some things, I can sell some stuff. And for instance, if I go to the forest, and even the dark forest, I will encounter the enemies, and I clearly understand where I go and what I can get from the side. And that's what is the mental map is learning on. And the things how to create mental map, there are a lot of stuff that can introduce, and even that we covered today, as for instance landmark. It's also intuitive way, so you understand it's not like typically state with a label with some arrows that okay go there, but it is something in the environment that you understand. Okay, I go there because I will have some that drives the storyline. I will have some main quests there. Or also mental map, it's not only about large maps and like global map for the game. It's also about, as I told, like the feeling the player of the expectations. Yeah, intuitively he feels what he overcome next in some of the zone. And for instance, size of the map is also matters for this mental thing, because if you get into some dark narrow corridor, you already expect some action, or maybe some horror moment, so you're already feeling not so good as, for instance, even on the previous screen on the landmarks, yeah, when you just have around everything you see. So it's also one of the examples of mental maps. And another one, lightings. If some of you played the Dying Light 2, which I highly recommend, if you're from some occasion, from your choice, not by quest, but from your choice, appears in the city outside the safe places at the night. Firstly, if you're just already running and the monsters are going after you, you're just running, and trying to escape it. And just if you see like this purple lighting, is you're already just okay, I'm safe, I'm going and I'm forward, aiming to this to that OFO lighting. And it's also like something like intuitively like mental map, so like the contract with the player. So I just leave everything. I already, if previously I was running just forward and just to run out, now I am running in some direction. And more of the stuff could be implemented to the mental maps, to build these mental maps and to help to provide this possibility to the players. And as a conclusion, so first of all, yeah, larger games, it becomes more complex level design. And if at the beginning map designer was named to the level designer because of we had the menu with the level 1, level 3, level X, now it is really more complex to develop a level, to get all of this stuff that we covered and a lot of them more. So now it's for sure not just map designer, but you're building the whole level. And level design developments becomes harder, more challenging, and I appreciate it. I love the stuff and the direction which is going it. And so that's all from my side. And now I want to answer your questions you had. So please. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy, and yeah, that this was a QR code for my LinkedIn, and like as I mentioned, I also provided my blog, so some of the stuff from this or a lot of another you can find there. So thank you